run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Been doing that 5 or 6 years now, I think. So I've got some good insight on what's going on out there in the art and photography worlds, what's selling. So I sent the subject line email today on the session. What we normally do in these sessions is high level, quick demo, goes through quickly who we are, what we do, what the software looks like, the education piece, and that's a pre-recorded video. I'll run that. It's good, and I think it goes about 10 minutes. Afterwards, I'll come on, give the Q Thor spiel, which is good, and then after that, we can get into your questions. We can get into your questions all throughout it too. But I've got a really good game plan into how to look at Q Thor, how to approach Q Thor, and yes, even for you guys that are not customers yet. So, all right, Taylor, take it away, guys. I'll see you in just a sec.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're gonna find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're gonna hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it, raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes, and that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're gonna send this to you after today's session ends. We're gonna email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are 2 halves to Art Storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work, you get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts, you save up for it, eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color, how's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions, your website does not answer them, and they never get it answered, they leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go, got the help for you right here, problem solved, keep going, keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you can step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, G-clay print, metal acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need. Right, so let's step it up. The 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here, and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home, and our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
All right. Thank you, pre-recorded Taylor. Guys, for those that were just watching that, was that thing too long or too short? Thumbs down for too long. Okay. In between. All right. Thumbs up. Constantly figuring out how to try to make these things better. One thing that's really cool, it's an advancement that we've made on these sessions that I just want to show you briefly is we're going to get into the Q&A. I'm going to present a bit. There's going to be links that are going to end up showing up. And I want to just share my screen with you because to show you what these things look like are really cool. I got to do something over here so everyone can see it. So this is what the show notes will look like when they get emailed to you after the fact, and they get emailed to you automatically. And it has the video, and somebody on this session is taking notes. And so, you know, every big question, every big everything is going to be on here. It's like a little table of contents thing. So you can come back after the fact and be like, you know what was that one thing that they talked about that I thought was pretty interesting? Like, I want to see that again, right? And so if you click on any of these things, what it does is it'll open up YouTube in a new window to exactly the part where that question was, right? So you don't have to go hopping around here or there, like rewatch the whole thing, fast forward or anything. So I find that to be like really effective when you just want to go back and hear one particular part. Below that will be links to like every single solitary resource that we talk about. I always mention a bunch, weird things come up. And so we've got somebody grabbing that, putting that all in there, and this web page will be emailed to you. You know, I think it probably takes like an hour or so after the session's over. So, you know, some of you guys end up coming on a little bit late or come on mid-session. Some of you have to leave. So case in point, if that's you, all good. Don't worry, you're covered. You'll get that email automatically. So we will put some links in the chat as we roll along too. And, you know, you don't have to feel like, okay, where was that link? Did I click it? Like, don't worry. We're going to send you all of it after the fact. So, you know, I put in the email, which I think I got a bunch of you to attend today, is, you know, I want to talk about Q4, how big of an opportunity it is, and then specifically, you know, what you need to do to take advantage of it. And let me just talk about Q4 big picture broadly. Traditionally, in terms of online art sales, okay, Q4, by which I mean Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the holiday buying season, whatever other sales you want to insert in there, it's the biggest art selling time of the year. We have multiple customers that we see. We're a little bit over 4,000 customers. And if I go back like over the last 5 years, every single solitary year, Q4 is the biggest by far. You've got some that do 70 to 80% of their yearly sales all packed into the fourth quarter. So it's a tremendous time to have your art and be on sale and be in the market, first and foremost, I'd say that. But this year it's just the perfect storm. It's absolutely the perfect storm. You know, it's contrary to what most people think, but COVID-19 has actually been a huge blessing, a tremendous windfall, for lack of a better word, for the art and photography markets and really big picture the home decor markets, right? Number one, the lockdowns. Number two, people not going back to work. Number three, spending enough time in their home to actually be bored of their white walls such that they're actually taking action, right? And again, it's across the board in home decor. It's not just art or photography, so you don't have to like take it gospel from me. You look at Etsy's quarterly filings, the biggest they've ever had. Ever in the entire history of the company. You look at companies like Wayfair, which is like the Amazon of home decor, same thing, exploding across the board. You try to get any home office supplies, equipment, any of that type of stuff, sales, you know, streaming stuff, like it's been really, really difficult to get. And all of that just has to do with people spending more time in their home than ever before. So it's been great for art and photography. So we've got that coming into play. Then you have coming into play the fact that all of the usual traditional sources to get that art and photography are no longer available. Most of the galleries are closed. Local fairs and shows that people went to, no one's going to those anymore. They're either canceled or they're happening virtually or, you know, some nonsense in between. So that's playing into it massively. Then you throw in this COVID fact that like a lot of people are fleeing the cities they used to live in and are now moving to the suburbs. So instead of, their 2 bedroom apartment, they're now in a 3 or 4 bedroom house. Where I live here in Southern California, a bunch of my buddies are in the home building business, and they're like, we're the busiest we've ever been in our entire lives. It's not even close. People are fleeing out of LA. People are fleeing out of urban Orange County, urban San Diego, and they're done. They're done. They want more space, and that's happening across the board. So that's a tremendous thing. Shopping behaviors have changed significantly. Whereas before you would, go to the mall or you would go to Main Street and you would wander around. No one's doing that anymore. Now everyone is just figuring, okay, I need a new pair of shoes. They go right into the store, they get the pair of shoes, and they leave. The amount of disposable income that was spent on things like travel, sporting events, nights out, right? Like babysitter for the kids, all of that. That's just not happening anywhere near the clip that it was. And so as such, we believe that the conditions on the ground, the facts on the ground, are going to create one of the biggest Q4s in the history of art and photography sales, probably in the last 10 to 15 years. The economy was good before COVID hit. Yes, I realize it's hurting a lot of people, but those are not the people that were going to buy your art anyway. The well-to-do middle to upper class people are going to ones that buy all the art, and they are not hurting in this thing. They're spending less money, and their income is more or less unchanged. So we believe there's just like a number of factors, and then obviously, e-commerce penetration being what it is, out of control. If you look at the e-commerce growth rates, by which I mean percentages of transactions for whatever item you want to pick that are happening online versus in-person retail, right? The graph was moving along like it normally did. And the minute COVID hit, all the measurements and the wizards of smart, the tech guys would say, depending on who you talk to, either 5 or 10 years of e-commerce penetration and growth got compacted into an 8-week period, right when the pandemic was in its full swing and lockdown. So more people are buying things online than ever before. So all of it just spells an incredible, incredible time for art and photography sales. And I've been doing just about 3 of these a week, as well as sometimes 2 to 3 sessions a week with our customers. And so the sheer number of artists and photographers that I talk to on a weekly basis is staggering. It probably take in upwards of 250 live questions from artists and photographers, crafters, even to a certain extent, both customers and non on a weekly basis. So I have a pretty good read just based on that pattern recognition where everybody is on this call. My sincere hope, whether you've never sold a single solitary piece of art before in your life, you're looking to get started, you want to get going, whether you had a decent validation, you sold a few pieces, but you're looking to really take it to the next level, whether you had a thriving offline art gallery, shows, fairs, business, which has since dried up, or you're really rocking and rolling. My greatest hope, and no matter where you are in that level, and no matter where you are, you have no email list, you have no one to market to, or you do have people to market to, is you at least get in the game this Q4. Okay, get in the game and at least take a shot at attempting to sell your art and photography, because it's not hyperbole. I honestly believe it is going to be the single solitary greatest Q4 ever. We have seen Q4 levels of sales going down on our platform since like late March is when it kicked in, and it just hasn't stopped. So we're selling as much on our platform as we do during a normal Q4, and that's not a like, oh, we're so good at what we do or our software. I mean, sure, that's great, but it has everything to do with the economic circumstances that are on the ground, which are phenomenal. So I'll cover at a high level what I think you need to be doing at a minimum, give you some pointers and tips along the way. I'm extremely cognizant of the fact that many of you have never done any digital marketing before in your life. You don't have an email list. If you do, it's tiny. Probably only have a personal Facebook account, not one for the art business. Maybe you have a tiny Instagram account. So, the fundamentals of what we're going to do here in Q4 and the fundamentals of a sale, and maybe you've heard me talk about this before, it's a very, very simple mathematical equation, okay? And it applies to all of you. It applies to us, Art Storefronts of Business. It applies to Amazon.com, and I'll stitch it together. A well-run art sale, the likes of which everybody's about to start running as we get into this, is a simple mathematical equation. It's A plus B, okay, times C. A is just an incentive, okay? Most commonly thought of as 10% off, 20% off, 30% off, buy today and custom signed by the artist. It's just an incentive to take action, okay? So that's A. B is scarcity. i.e., whatever the incentive is, it's going to go away. It's going to expire in 24 hours. It's going to expire in 48 hours. It's 7 days left on the sale, right? You combine those two, integers, if you like, A plus B, and you times it by C. What is C? Attention. Attention comes in two formats. Comes in rented and owned. Owned is what you have in terms of your email list. If you're someone that sends snail mail, most people don't. It's phone numbers, but that's the attention you own. The attention you rent is your Facebook following, your Instagram following, if you have a YouTube following, Pinterest, Twitter, whatever you have. Perhaps you're big on TikTok. Every single solitary sale boils down to that equation, and it's just straight maths. It's not how good you are. It's not how good your art is. It's literally just the attention times those two factors. And so it's very easy for me to teach you the A plus B. The C, you sort of, your attention is what your attention is. So you do the best that you can. But it's what we teach all year long, how you can build and get more attention. Last week was Amazon Prime Day. What did they have? A, an incentive, a deal on a bunch of things. B, scarcity. Prime Day lasted for 48 hours. And they multiplied that by the attention they had. In Amazon's case, a whole lot, right? So they're way too big of a company. They need to get busted up, in my opinion. So number one, to get in the game, if you create originals and you're an artist that creates originals, you sort of have this one covered. If you're not, if you're a photographer or if you're an artist that also wants to sell prints, I find that 99% of the people that I come on and talk to on these calls break this rule. It's a cardinal sin as far as I'm concerned. You guys do not sell 2D images, okay? You don't sell 2D images. What do you sell? You sell something that hangs on the wall. And yet, how many of you on this call have enough inventory to show all the pieces in the various different media types? No one ever does. No one ever does. Like if I asked you, Gary, okay, you're going to come work for me, selling knives door to door. What are you going to show up with door to door? You're going to show up with the knives so you can show those. You're not going to show up with some 2D image or send them to your Facebook page and look at this image. I'm not buying a 2D image. No one's buying a 2D image. So many artists and photographers fail fundamentally on understanding merchandising. And I'm going to walk you through it because I believe there are 6 media types that you simply must have. Artists, photographers. Now, if you're an artist that says, I'm only selling originals, fine, I get that, okay? You're covered. You've got it. You can show them. Might be a little bit harder if they're huge, but you've got them. And let me just go through the whole spiel, and then my green screen's going to make a couple of these images look a little wacky, which is bear with me, okay? You need 2 fine art papers. These ones are framed, obviously, ready to hang. One is a photo paper, one is a textured fine art paper. I can get into more on that in a second. You need a gallery wrapped canvas. You need to be able to show it, show the sides of it, show that it's ready to hang, show that it doesn't need to be framed, right? You could show these off on your webcam. You can zoom in and show how beautiful the texture is and talk about it. My webcam's really crappy. It's not focusing. Hottest medium in the game right now. You need to have metal, also ready to hang. Also hangs right on the wall without a frame. Beautiful. There's a couple of different kinds. We can get into that in a second. Acrylic. Okay, the hot new kid on the block. These things are beautiful. They look beautiful no matter what your medium is. Obviously, this is a painting, but it looks beautiful for photography too. I realized my webcam was having focusing issues. I apologize about that. Last one is wood. Not many people know about this one. It's actually selling tremendously well, extremely thick, hangs on the wall. It's beautiful. You can see it has an incredible texture if this thing will focus too. So, number one, ahead of this Q4, if you don't have the various different media types as samples of your work, you're really not even in the game. You're not in the game. Even for you guys that have never sold anything, never tried to sell anything, like there are ways this Q4 where you can run a sale, but if you don't have the media types to show off, if you can't make a video, if you can't potentially get on a Zoom chat with somebody and say, oh, you don't know what acrylic is, Gary? Let me explain it to you. Let me show it to you. Metal, oh yeah, I can show you what that is too. No consumers know what these things are. None of your friends likely know what these things are. Ask anybody what the difference is between a photographic fine art paper, a textured paper, a canvas, metal, acrylic. No one knows, right? So if you don't have the ability to merchandise and show it off, you're not in the game. Straight up, full stop. Like you need to have samples, okay? If you're gonna go door to door selling art, you would take the pieces with you, right? But so few people do that. So even if you've never started anything, you got to get the samples. And oh, by the way, do you notice how all those ones I had were really small? That total combined order is like $150. like 140 bucks, I think. You can even do cheaper than that if you want to like knock off one of the other ones. So for $140, you can get a bunch of small samples, which by the way, as I'm going to come to teach you, selling on video like I'm doing right now, smartest thing in the history of mankind. We're going to get into it more. But do you notice how it's small? It's on my webcam. It's easy for me to show. I don't need giant prints. I'm just trying to show you what it looks like and explain the media type and then maybe romance my piece a little bit. So the order is tiny. It is tiny to do. And so many people tell me like, oh, okay, I'm ready to sell my art. I'm ready to sell my photography. I'm ready to take the next substantive step in my business. And I say, okay, well, what are you working on? I'm getting the website ready. I'm narrowing down what my niche is. I'm getting the bank account set up. I'm coming up with my pricing. What the heck are you doing? All you need to do is put in a sample order and start selling, okay? And this is why I put this in the email. I've had so many people come on here and give me all these nonsense excuses about everything that they've done. I've been in juried shows. People tell me they love my work. I'm just figuring out my pricing. If I could just get my work photographed, $125 to $140, you have 6 different media types, and you are set up just like now to get on a Zoom call, to have a FaceTime chat with the prospective buyer and show the work. It's that simple. And yet everyone wants to complicate it. You don't need a bank account at all. Do you have PayPal? Do you have Venmo? Okay, you're good to go. You can get started and attempt to sell your work right now and validate it. Now, I realize I'm ranting on the lower end of the scale, which is, have you validated that your work will even sell? Do you even know that your work will sell, right? And a lot of people are usually in that boat. And when I say validated that your art will sell, I mean sold art before, or photography, to people not named. Mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends. They would do anything for you, okay? They would buy anything you created no matter what. You have to try to sell that work to strangers and get the validation that can only come from the exchange of commerce, of dollars going out of their wallet into yours, okay? So that's a critical component to do. But having the samples and being able to talk and articulate about them and what you like about them, what you don't like about them, why they're great, why they look amazing in your house, why they might pair well with your furniture, everyone has to have the samples. And I know no one has the samples because even all of my customers, I have to browbeat on a regular basis to get the samples. You have to have the samples to sell. It's that simple, okay? So if you don't have a website and you don't have a website that's set up to sell online, what can you do? And yes, obviously we offer that solution. It's incredibly helpful and we can still get you online in Q4. But what if you don't? And what if that's not going to happen? Okay, trick question. What is the single solitary best way to sell art or photography? Okay, it's a trick question because everyone knows what it is. It's face-to-face in person, okay? Problem, you guys are geographically fixed on this earth, same as me, and you have 24 hours in a day, which means you need to sleep. So yes, you need to have the website. It can sell to people concurrently. It will work while you sleep. You can have 3,000 people on it at a time. You can't do that. You don't scale that way. The live video, like what we're doing now, represents the single solitary greatest disruption the art of photography markets have ever seen, okay? Because it goes from in-person best to website scenario, and it puts it right in the middle, okay? It's a hybrid between the two. And it's easy. It's cheap. You can do these broadcasts on the socials, direct one-to-one. You do not need anything more than this, and I know you all have one. You turn this on, you start talking, you have your pieces to merchandise, you have a Venmo or a PayPal account. You can get started today, this afternoon. Go live on whatever social account you have the biggest following on and potentially sell a great amount of work. And it's that simple. And I've had multiple people come on these calls and say, I'm just going to get started. I'm just retiring now. I want to take my art business seriously. I don't have the funds to pay for you guys. What do you recommend I do? I recommend you order the samples. I recommend you go to the venue you have the most attention, turn the button on the camera on, start talking about the art, and let them know you have a sale. I'm going to include in the show notes a link to a video where a gal came on this call, asked me that same question. How do I get started? What do I do? She did a broadcast on her Facebook page. First time she did it, she sold $1,200 of her art the first time she tried. And you don't have to take it from me. Her name's Deb Herbert. I'm going to send you the video. You go directly to her Facebook page and you look at it. It'll be in the show notes. It's powerful. It works. It's amazing. I would further say that we have multiple people on our site that are well above 6 figures a year that are selling multiple $1,000 price points where video plays a role in almost every single solitary sale they have. Once you get over a certain price point, the dirty little secret online, everyone thinks like, I'm just going to put my work online and I'm never going to have to talk to anybody and these orders are going to come in and it's going to be magic. Absolute nonsense. There is a hard and fast rule in terms of internet commerce that once you reach above a certain price threshold and let's just loosey-goosey call it $1,500 to $2,500, somewhere in that range, you need to talk to the person. They are not just going to buy it, come to your site, throw out the credit card and buy it. They want to talk to somebody. That's a lot of money to part with, right? So they want a little bit more follow-up. And so we've got a tremendous amount of people that are in that zone that are just attempting to schedule Zoom chats all day long with prospective buyers that they've qualified. Here I am in my studio. I'm a real person. Get to know me. Here's what my work looks like. Here's what my inspiration. Do you have any other questions? How does it ship? And they get the sale over the line that way. So all of that you can do without the fancy website for the most part, right? If you are in a position where you validated that your art sells, if you are in a position where you're ready to take your marketing seriously, then it makes a tremendous amount of sense to sign up with us, because we'll make you way better and get you going. Yeah, April put the link to Deb in the chat. But that's what I got. And I think, some of you guys, I know you don't have an email list, okay? And you don't even have a business Facebook page or an Instagram account. That's okay. You probably have a personal Facebook page. It has your family and friends on it. I get that. You have an email list of your family and friends. So let me go through the scenario of what I'd recommend for you, and then I'll go up the chain in 3 steps, and then we'll get into your questions and answers. You're just getting started. You've never marketed a day in your life. I don't care. You want to be in the water this Q4, imperative. So what you can do is you can go after your family and friends, do a live broadcast on your personal Facebook page. All you need are the aforementioned samples and the phone. And you can say, hey guys, it's me, Donna. I'm attempting to get my art business off the ground. COVID has really motivated me to try this for the first time, and I'm trying to figure out if any of this stuff will sell. I want to show you a couple of pieces and talk about the process. So let me talk about the process of this photo. I was in the Shenandoah Mountains. It was fall, a beautiful crisp day. I woke up at 6 o'clock and hiked 3 miles, and I was out in open air painting this thing for 9 hours, and this is what I came up with. It's acrylic, okay, which is one of the hottest new mediums, and I think really, really accentuates the colors and makes it pop. It's ready to hang on your wall immediately. Now, here's where you take the price, okay, of what this cost you. You mark it up 250%, and then you say, because I'm getting started, I would normally sell a piece this size for about $700, but because I'm trying to get this business launched, because it's COVID and because it's Black Friday and I know we need to do a sale, I'm willing to let it go right now for $300. All you have to do is reply to this Facebook post, or if you've got my email, send me an email. On you go. On you go, through and through. Very easy to do. Very easy to do when you have samples. And one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get emails, and by the way, you'll take Venmo or PayPal, or, send a check, okay? Good old-fashioned check, remember those? All of that you can do right now. You could start that this afternoon if you had the samples in your hand, right? And you can send an email to your family and friends, and you could even potentially go live on Facebook, go live on Instagram, whatever you have at your disposal. Take the video, take the link to the Facebook post, put it in the email, say, hey guys, I'm trying to get my art business launched. Will you watch this and just tell me if my work's awesome or if you want any of it? No reasonable offer if you just send me the message, and give it a shot. How hard is that to do, right? Really, really easy to do. The difference between actually doing what I just said there and what everyone else does, you got it done in 48 hours, not months and months and months and weeks, and let me just get my website ready and my pricing and my work photographed. No one wants to do that, though. It's the fastest way to do it. It is so smart and so fast to do it. It's like the analogy I always give is the restaurant analogy. Gary and I are going to start a restaurant. I'm picking on you, Gary, because you're the first video thumbnail. Sorry. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate you taking me. Gary and I are going to start a restaurant. Gary is highly intelligent, and I'm a moron. I use the term loosely. Okay. I'm going to start a restaurant. So what do? I spend 2 months on a business plan. I take the business plan down to the bank. I spend a month negotiating with the banker. I get the loan from the banker. I go out and I rent a place for 3 years. Then I design the menus, and I hire a staff, and I have a grand opening. And you know what I figure out? Nobody wants the food that I cook. You know what Gary did? Gary, on that first weekend when I started working on my business plan, went down to Costco and got a rolling cart for $150. He cooked. He walked into the middle of an office building during lunch, put a sign up, and said, Gary's Tacos. Who's interested? And you know what happened? It smelled good. A bunch of people got in line. A bunch of people bought the tacos. At the end of the day, the building owner came down and was like, Gary, we need you Tuesdays, Thursdays. Can you do Tuesdays, Thursdays? And Gary's like, sure, I'll see you Tuesdays, Thursdays, no problem. So it's the same concept, except for art. But nobody wants to talk about how easy that was to do, right? Like I might have made it all the way 9 months, a year and a half, all that money out of my pocket, and I have no idea if people even want my food. Gary already knows. Gary already knows weekend number one. After a month of doing those office building sessions, he's ready to go get a restaurant, except he knows that they're going to be banging down the door to come in. So that's how easy you to do it. If you have never started before, you have a personal page, that's it. There's like very little startup cost there. It's 150 bucks. If you're more established, okay, if you have an email list, you've been doing this for a little while, all the same rules apply. If you, I would go as far to say, if you validated your art, okay, and you're in a position where you sold, let's say a couple thousand or above 1,000 over the years or more than that, you still have time to sign up. We will get you plugged in, get you the whole entire sales strategy, how to omni-channel market, how to take advantage of the attention you have. Crazy without question. If you're somewhere, so request a demo, trust me, we can help. But if you're somewhere in the in-between zone and you're still figuring it out, all the same rules apply. You just need to run a sale, okay? You need to run a couple of sales. The proverbial chum is going to be in the water this particular Q4 more so than at any other time in history, because everyone is buying e-commerce, because e-commerce adoption is 10x what it was, because when you advertise digitally to a direct e-commerce sale, it is very easy to track, in sharp contrast to road signs and radio ads and TV ads, where my wife has a PhD in statistics and does this from a marketing agency all day long. And it's like the nonsense that those people talk about trying to justify their radio spend and their video spend and their billboards on the side of the road. Like, no. E-commerce makes it the easiest as possible to measure. So what's going to happen is sales are going to go earlier and earlier. There's going to be more and more of them because all of these merchants have just thrived so incredibly in COVID. They're just going to be whipping people into a buying frenzy. So all you have to do is just get in the game, and we can teach you how to execute a proper sale. Most people think, again, let's go back to my original example, and then I'll finish on this so we can get into the questions. What is a sale? Discount plus scarcity times the attention you have, right? Problem is that the attention you have is not like a light switch. You can just throw it on. Yes, you have people on Facebook. Yes, you have people on Instagram. Yes, you have people on your email list, but that doesn't mean they're going to be on Facebook when you post your sale, or on Instagram when you post your sale, or they're going to open your email, right? So there's a tremendous amount of tradecraft that goes into executing a proper sale. And I can give you a for instance, right? This is the stuff we teach. We teach this all year long. We're very good at it. In addition to being very good at it, we have 4,500 customers under 43, whatever it's at. Over 4,000 customers on the platform. I get to see who's doing really well. I know what works, okay? And I've been doing this for a long time now. Instead of, you just send an email, maybe you phone in a social post, and you let people know that you have a sale, and then you send one last email when the sale's over. Even that would be great, but most people don't know how to do that. They don't have any idea how that goes on, okay? True omni-channel marketing is where you use everything you have at your disposal. Again, snail mail, phone numbers, I don't care, your personal email address, your email list, your Facebook page, your business page, your Instagram account, Facebook ads if you have it. What we teach is how you leverage all of those strategically and together at the same time to capture the most attention imaginable. I'll give you an example, okay? We're going to have a 5-day sale. It's going to go on Monday. I teach you how to send an email on Friday that doesn't have a link in it at all. All it says is, my biggest sale, I don't do this often, but my biggest sale of the year is going to come up on Monday. Look out for an email, Craig. Thanks, and have a great weekend. Subtle little thing like that. No one ever talks about it. But when you put an email together that has no salesy language and no link at all, it makes people pay attention. So what if Craig sent that email on Friday? Now, Gary, I'm picking on Craig now because he's over here on the right. So what if you sent that email on Friday, okay? Then you did a social post. By the way, my biggest sale, I don't do this often, my biggest sale of the year is coming up on Monday. Look out for an email. And then you did an Instagram story. And the Instagram story on Friday said 3 days till. And then the Instagram Saturday said 2 days till. And then the Instagram story on Sunday said 1 day till. In addition to that, you took those posts and you turned them into ads that you showed to your warm audience, your email list, anyone that's interacted with your Facebook page, your Instagram account, has ever left a comment, has ever sent a direct message. Do you know what you need to spend to do that? $15. $15. Now, I'm talking about the pre-sale message that's more sophisticated than any sale any of you guys have probably ever run. That's just the pre-sale part, right? Friday, okay? I'm teasing that the sale is going to come Monday. I'm teasing on Facebook. I'm teasing on Instagram in a coordinated, dovetailed fashion. I'm putting a $5 a day ad spend behind it. And what that little exercise that I just went through encapsulates, now everyone on your list, everyone that follows you, everyone knows you, is warmed up to the fact that you're going to have a sale on Monday. Imagine the tricks that we have when the sale actually goes down to when it ends, right? So those are the types of things that we teach. We teach it all year long. There is still time to get up, get running, get your site live, and get the sales going before this. But what I just outlined on the call is the same stuff I outlined to my customers too. I mean, you have to have the samples. You have to attempt to sell. Be Gary. Push the cart into the office building. Do not go and try and start a restaurant. Do not come on this call 9 months from now and say, "Yeah, I've been working on the art business." Oh, really? What have you done? Well, I've been working on this. Yeah, so you've taken no substantive steps forward in your business whatsoever. How's that working out for you, right? And I say that with all the love in the world because I've been on the calls for too long. I see it. The normal analogy I give is like artists and photographers, for whatever reason, get this stuff stuck in their drain. And until you unclog the drain, none of the good stuff can go down the drain, which is sort of a terrible analogy because down the drains, well, you get it. Anyway, I'm going to get into the questions. Shamla, you're up first. I see that there's some in the chat. I'll also answer the ones on social media, go through all of them. So Shalma, I think it is. We're going to start with you first. And you'll need to unmute yourself, Shalma. I'll let you know when you get it. Are you there, Shalma? I saw her moving around. Sort of wild to watch on Zoom when somebody's like watching on their phone and they like put it in the car and they're driving between destinations and then they get to the destination. She was doing that. It was kind of interesting. Okay, I don't know where she is. I've got one in the chat. Okay. I had a 10-minute session yesterday and would like to request a demo and carry on with another sales consultant. Okay, I get that. Sent previous message. Okay, I think this is meant for me privately, but she wants a demo. So, okay, yes, Patricia, I will make sure that you get that. Okay, there you are, Shalma. I think your mic's unmuted. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Gotcha.
You're talking about emails, which is not something I've been collecting over the years.
Yeah.
And it's me like I can't even get started unless I have a list of emails.
Yeah, there's definitely a chicken and an egg scenario, right? But what I would say is that being that this Q4 is coming up, you have a personal email list. Do you have a personal Facebook page? You're ready to go then.
I've been a snail mail person and phone person all my life.
Yeah, and you can use snail mail too. Snail mail actually is like sort of coming back in a big way because no one's using it anymore. So you could even potentially do it with snail mail. Do you have what kind of an artist are you? Are you do originals? Do you do prints?
I do originals, and I am a New York trained portrait artist primarily.
Okay.
But I do commission work and I do personal uncommissioned work as well.
Okay, and so you've got commissions too. Yeah, I mean, do you know what I would do? Is I would get that address book out. Okay, I would prepare a mail, which you can do very inexpensively. Very inexpensively. There's a company called Vistaprint that's really expensive, but even if the list is small, you could just print them out on an inkjet printer or do it at Kinko's too, right? Talk about the fact that you're having a sale. Okay, you can you can highlight, use this little line of text because I love it. What are we all on? A Zoom call right now, so you can say, "Hey guys," and how do I pronounce your name, by the way? Shalma?
Shalma.
So, say it again. You broke up.
Shalma.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Shalma. The holidays are coming up, and I haven't written to you in a while. And I thought this would be a great time to offer an incredible discount on my art. I know everyone's at home more. You're bored with your white walls. You're probably on a ton of Zoom calls, and you want to spice up your background. I'm also offering a deal on commissions. And if you want to talk about it, I'm willing to do a one-on-one video chat. All you have to do is send me a text or email me and print those out and send them.
You know what? You all are a dream team. I've got to go into Bed Bath & Beyond where I'm working part-time and capture people's email addresses.
You ought to be doing that too. Absolutely.
You know.
You're going to get in trouble.
Okay.
You're going to likely get in trouble for that, but I like where your head's at. You and I would get along quite well. Let me put it that way. You. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye. Oh, it's too fun. Technology is just amazing. I'm serious because I'm looking at like the grid of faces, and Shalma took the call in her house, and then I see her put the mask on, and then I see her get in the car, and now she's parked in the car. Like there's its own little narrative, going on. There's the show inside the show, right? Okay, Gary, you're up next. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I'm an original artist.
Okay.
My worry would be, and I'm just getting going. I mean, I've sold locally and all of that, but never online. So my worry is that I haven't had the artwork professionally photographed yet. And I do want to get into the print game. So I'm a little concerned about getting ahead of myself, selling off, many of these original pieces, if I was so lucky to do that, without having the photographs to be able to then move to a print strategy. So is there some way that you guys, or do you recommend a certain way forward on that to be
Mhm.
able to be in that game quicker, sooner that rather than later?
Yep.
So if I do that launch in Q4 and have some success, that I'm not completely out of luck with those originals.
Yep. I've actually got three things for you on this. One, and again, you don't need to get the link, but I'm going to send it to you in the show notes. So one of the cool things about like the fact that we have a pretty solid community of customers now, we've got one that I always forget what his name is, but this was his career. He like had a print studio and he photographed artwork for a living for like 30 years. And he wrote the most in-depth mega nerd, and I should know I'm a huge one, mega nerd article on how to get your artwork photographed, everything from doing it yourself with your iPhone all the way down to the professional submission, doing it with your own SLR, lighting, lenses, It's all in there. So we're going to send that to you. It'll be clear as day. I want you to read that. It'll be a good post to read.
Okay.
That's the short answer. The longer answer, though, is I would say, this is sort of a drain clog situation for you, right? And let me explain why. Everyone worries about what happens after the sale. No one worries about the hardest thing, which is making the sale, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
can have all those originals and you can attempt to sell them, make the sale. Once you've made the sale, hey, Patrick, it's Gary. Thanks so much for the purchase. Listen, I need to get this thing photographed before I let it go. Or if you're selling the print already, say, I just decided to re-photograph all my work to an even higher quality because these new mediums are so great. So I'm going to need about 2 weeks to be able to get that done. And is that okay? No one will ever say no to that. Okay. So I'm not saying go out and get it photographed. I'm saying sell the print, call the prospective buyer up, let them know, hang up the phone, go find someone that can photograph, get it photographed and printed. That's what you do, right? Like,
Good advice.
yeah, that's
All
just
right, great.
don't stress. There's so many people, and again, you got to validate that it's all going to sell, right? So so many people are like, if I just get it photographed, then I'll be ready to go. It's like, no, start selling. Like the other versions of that are like, I got to figure out all my shipping. No, you don't.
Well,
Take the order and then say, hey, I'm going to figure out how to ship this thing to you, and then we'll talk, right? Like, get the order. Yeah.
Yeah, you bring that up. I mean, that's been another interesting dilemma because I've seen some of the prices that some of my friends have paid, and I'm like, I don't want to be in that game. I want to make sure at least I have some clear idea. But to your point, I mean, there are ways around that after you make the sale. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's good advice.
Yeah.
And I am having my demo on Friday, so I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, very cool. They'll take you through all the bells and whistles.
Moving forward. So
Gary, how you sold previous to now?
just in local fairs here in Florida, a couple of festivals. We have a really nice art street here that we've been able to, sell some work there. Obviously friends and family, but I'm talking about strangers. Strangers are more through just face to face.
Yeah.
And the problem is I don't want to be face to face right now. So I love the fact that we have the video option. I don't mind making calls or doing this type of communicating. I just don't want to do it right now with a mask on. And
well, here.
It's just not a good place to be right now. I'd rather be doing everything I can online. So
yeah, I agree massively. And I would also say too, like, it doesn't seem that, and even where you are in Florida, right, and the way DeSantis has handled COVID, in sharp contrast to where I am in California, night and day, right? Like, Disney World's open. Those fairs and shows, I mean, we're 24 to 48 months until they come back full steam, full attendance.
Exactly.
And so it's like, the revenue opportunities that they present, I just don't think are coming back in any substantive way. So it underscores needing to get the digital piece in place and start working on it. You have to. And then in terms of places to show off your work too, the background's pretty jazzy there.
Thanks.
Whatever you got going there, I like it.
Those are just models. The
Yeah.
artwork is over there.
Yeah, it looks cool though. It looks cool.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Good feedback. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I see Julie Jones. Don't worry, Julie. You don't need to raise your hand. I'll find you and I'll unmute you. Hold on. Where are you, Julie? There you are. You'll need to hit the unmute, Julie. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, on it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we gotcha.
Okay, I got a ton of questions actually.
Okay.
Let's see. Some are simple, some are a little longer. How do you sign a piece
So I'm
if this is
assuming,
being printed by you guys?
yeah. So a couple of different ways. We have a number of people that do digital signatures, an option. We have a number of people that do not sign the prints. We have a number of people, which is the route that I recommend, that sell two different versions, which is one not signed and then one hand signed. The hand signed one carries with it anywhere from a 12.5 to 30% premium, depending on who they are. Sometimes they're in limited editions. What happens, what's nice about doing it that way, and I really do encourage that you charge more when they're hand signed, and people will pay that want it, and people that don't care won't, which is great. The two print houses that we use are experts at the shipping. So the box comes shipped to you. You gently open the cardboard. You pull the print out of the plastic, sign it with the message, seal it right back up in that plastic, seal the cardboard right back up, tape it up, new label on it, off it goes. So that's the way to do that.
That means then that I pay for the shipping.
You would pay for this. Yes, that's correct. So we recommend that. Again, that's why you charge the higher price point for the hand sign, because you have to go through all that.
Okay. On the actual website, how's the uploading done? Is it drag and drop?
Yeah, it's extremely easy.
Okay.
Yeah, extremely easy.
You're also talking about showing, samples of different types of work. And I can see how that's important, but what if I'm selling goo gobs of different pieces of art? Am I supposed to have a sample of each and every one?
No, not at all. I mean, here's what I would say. One, do you feel like your art is validated? You sold a bunch of art in the past. Are you in that boat? Or you?
Yeah. Yes, no, I've sold tons of art in the past.
Yeah.
I'd like to increase it now, especially during COVID-19. My sales have, they're in the gutter.
Yep. Got it. So, and I have a funny way of asking this, because the question you're asking me right now is actually the same question. Well, which images should I put on my homepage? I've got a bunch of art. Should I put everything on the homepage? Asked another way, let's go back to retail. Which images should I put in the store window that's on Main Street, right? You put your best sellers, right? So in your case, would I get some samples of the best sellers? Yeah, I absolutely would. Would I be willing to show them on video at any point in time? Yes, I would. It's more important that you have the various different media types and that you can articulate the differences and nuances between them than it is you showing every single solitary piece. So you don't need samples of absolutely everything, just some best sellers to start. And at a true minimum, it's just the different media types. So you can articulate that and show that and talk through that. But in your case, like if I had 20 best sellers that I knew there were 20 best sellers that I know that are going to sell pretty much all the time, no matter what, then yeah, I'm going to have all 20 of those ready to roll. And you're going to sell them as you go anyway, right?
Okay. What about pricing of prints?
We sort of automatically by default, our system is set up to do a 250% markup. That's sort of the number that we like, but you have the ability.
I'm sorry, that was a little fast. Can you say that again?
You should. I've got that going back to my second grade report cards. Patrick needs to slow down. I can't stop it. I got fifth gear pinned on the talking. I just don't have any other speed. 250% markup is what we recommend. That's where I'd start, number one. Number two, you have the ability to adjust any which way you like. So you can go up or down per piece, up or down per media type, right? Like depending on how you want to do it. Don't recommend getting that complicated. But I'm very much convinced, right? And this is another trope that'll allow me to kind of go into for a second. Everyone thinks, how many times have you heard, oh, don't ever discount your work. It'll cheapen it, right? Has anyone ever heard that? Anyone ever had any advice from that? Nonsense, okay? The only two brands I know that don't discount are Louis Vuitton, okay, Lois Vuitton LV, and Tiffany's. Are you saying your art is as good as those two? Then have at it and don't ever discount. Moreover, I've run multiple marketing exercises where the per piece costs and like gallery shows and stuff were in like the 20s, 30s, 40s, $50,000 range. Do you have any idea the negotiation that goes on for the people that buy those pieces? They grind harder than anybody. So the thought that things don't get negotiated down is nonsense. Let me tie it back to the markups. I personally like a higher markup, and then it gives me more room to negotiate. That's what I would say.
So how do I find out how much art storefronts charges to do a print for different kinds of prints.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just curious.
the way that it works is, and this will let me get into the printing, and I know probably a bunch of you guys will have printing questions, so let's just settle it now. Every option available. Okay, when you come aboard, if you come aboard. If you're doing originals, can't help you there. Obviously, you're going to have to ship those. You have them, right? If you're doing prints, you have a local printer you like, you can use them. Don't recommend you do that. Why? Because driving to a print shop, talking to a printer, going to the post office, FedEx, UPS, waste of your time you're not spent marketing your business. So we have two print partners, we call them. It's Bay Photo on the West Coast. It's one called Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. They handle absolutely everything. The pricing
Can
that
you
you
say
get.
that? Can you repeat that, please? That was also a little fast. On the West Coast, who do you have?
Bay Photo on the East Coast called Graphic Dimensions. They're both massive companies. They both have every printer imaginable, every media type imaginable, and the pricing that you will get through us, because we do a significant volume with both of them, is cheaper than the prices you'll get going to them if you're just off the streets. So
How do I see in advance how much that the charge is?
when you request a demo, the outreach team has all these documents. They can walk you through it and explain it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
How do I get a demo?
There's a link right in the chat, as well as we'll send you the email after the fact, and you can just click on that link. The outreach team will call you, and then they tailor the whole demo process, so you can ask all of like the super in-depth questions that I don't have enough room in my brain. Otherwise, I'd answer them.
Yeah. Now, what about shipping and tax? Who manages that?
Say that again.
What about shipping the art and tax? That's managed all by the printer. How do I manage like in-state tax versus no tax out of state?
Oh yeah, the software takes care of it. Our software takes care of that for you.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. And my last one is, God, how do I grow my email list?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Everyone thinks that we're a software company. And if you would have asked us if we were a software company 5 years ago, we would have said yes. We're actually not a software company. We are an art marketing education university. That's what we are. That's all we do. Because the number one problem 99 out of 100 artists and photographers have is not a website problem. It's a marketing problem. That's it. All of you guys need more attention, more eyeballs to look at your art and buy it. And the reason I also say you don't have a website problem, for every single solitary person on this call, I am the genie in the lamp. I will take all of your work and put it on any website you want, ours, any of the competitors, whoever it is, doesn't matter, and I'll do it. I'll get it done for you tomorrow. It is not going to change anything in your business because you don't have a website problem. All you're going to do is have your work on this website, on some other website, and you're not going to have any attention or eyeballs to it because you're not good at digital marketing. You haven't been doing it your entire career. You haven't been building an email list. You have not been emailing it regularly. You're not posting on the socials regularly. You're not running Facebook warm ads. And so we realized early on that if we want to make it as a business, we have to actually create artists and photographers that can market their work. And that's all we do. So, we run these sessions like the one we're running here to give you a taste for what we do. We take all of our customers bi-weekly basis that want to attend. We put them in sessions like this. We teach them all of the aspects of marketing. Last week was all about how to gather more email addresses. And we're pretty good at digital marketing. And we have some tricks and hacks that we don't share with anyone else that are just for our customers. But more importantly than that, we teach you to market all year long, and the teaching never, ever stops, ever. That's our business, essentially. It's sort of like when when you go to the theme park when they used to be open, and in your mind you're going for the rides, but they also have a restaurant in there, right? And it's like a pretty decent restaurant in there. That's sort of what we've become. Like everyone thinks they're coming in for the theme park and to go on the rides, and that's what they think Art Storefronts is, but it's not. You're actually there for the restaurant, and you're gonna have to be eating at it for the rest of your life, because in digital marketing land today, the sadists that own the socials are constantly moving the goalposts and changing the rules. So you need to stay up with it, right? But we teach you to market year in, year out, all year long, live video sessions, as well as what are called playbooks, step-by-step audio video guides that walk you through all the basic facets: how to grow an email list, how to post on the socials, how to do an Instagram story, how to omni-channel market, how to do a live video, how to do a live video on your phone, how to do a live video on your phone and your tablet at the same time, how to do a live video on your phone, your tablet, go live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time, how to do all of the above. Now I'm talking really fast. You're definitely going to be missing that. But how to do it?
You are talking extremely quickly.
Yep.
Where's the link to request a demo?
It's in the little chat here, and we'll also email it to you after the fact.
Okay.
And we have some people. We have some people you can talk to.
I don't see it in the column on the right-hand side.
So the column on the right-hand side with all the names is a different one than the chat. The chat is like, if you look in your little black bar at the bottom, there will be one that says chat. Well, what do you want? Are you on a phone or a laptop? You're on a laptop.
I'm on a laptop right now.
Yeah. So if you just hit the chat button, the link will be in there. But if not, don't worry. You know what I'll do? I'll have somebody reach out to you because I already have your email address. How about that? April, get it to do. Julie Jones needs somebody to reach out. Done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Julie. I'm sorry for talking fast. I can't help it. Okay, it's going to be Craig, and then it's going to go Susie. Craig, you're up next. Go ahead, Craig. What's up, Hamzy?
Is this for Craig?
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh, my concern is I don't have a website.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of times when I looked, it says to put down your website. Do you help us get a website, or do I have to make my own website and get a person that knows how to do that?
What's your level of tech sophistication currently? Okay, but
well, I worked in IT, but I never. I was more on the support side. I never worked on doing websites.
You'd be totally fine. So literally, like if you go onto our Facebook page and you look at the reviews, you know what all the reviews are for? This is I'm sad about this. It reflects poorly on me because I run the marketing department here. They're all for the support department. We have the best support department you could even possibly imagine. It's like a white glove level of service. We attempt to average 14 days or less to get your website up and running. One of the things that you've heard me say is that you don't have a website problem. I know you don't have a website problem. Do you know what's awesome about that? You don't have a website problem. You know what else is awesome about that? You don't need to do any custom design. You don't need to do any custom code. You don't need to rearrange things. We already know what works. All you're going to do is plug your images in, name them, title them, and price them, and we'll get you up and running in 14 days or less.
Okay. What about digital signatures? I just started using Bay Photo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the East Coast. I didn't know you had something here on the East Coast, but I sent a couple of my prints over to Bay Photo. Was very happy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that
They're
they
great.
came out with a digital signature that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend a digital signature or just having it sent back and putting our own signature on it?
Yeah. So what I recommend is if you leave it up to the customer, right? If you're going to operate under the presumption that the print's going to get shipped to you, you're going to sign it and then ship it to them, your time isn't free. So they're paying for that, right? So it should be a higher priced item, or you can offer it with the digital signature for the lower price and just say, hey, Craig, thanks so much for the order. As you saw, we have two options. If you don't mind a digital signature, I can give you it at a cheaper price. If you do want it hand signed because of extra shipping, some things that I have to do, I charge this. Here you go. And then you take care of it, right? And you end up making more money. Or you can do them, limited editions and make it special. There's no hard and fast rule, but that's what I recommend.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, Ray.
And you're also going to include the link to get a demo from you guys in our email.
Yep. It's in the chat. I guess the chat's less straightforward today. Sometimes it's new, but there's like a little chat button on the bottom. But yes, they're all over our website, and I'll email you the link after the fact too. I promise.
Okay, that sounds cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Okay, next up is Susie. Go ahead, Susie. Hold on. It looks like it didn't unmute you. Hold on. You might. Gotcha.
You got me. Okay. I asked this question one time before and just want an update.
Yep.
As far as there's prints on it that you do, and then I think there's coasters, and we talked about what other objects besides print, and I was told that there might be some more things coming.
There are, yeah.
And I want to know what's the latest.
Yeah. So I think the project is on maybe the 80-yard line or the 85-yard line, or maybe even 90. So coasters and greeting cards are now live, or I think greeting cards will be in like a week or so. And then the company we're integrating with is called Gooten. So you can check out their offerings. There's a whole bunch of
What's it called again?
Gooten. April, will you put the spelling of Gooten in the chat? Or we'll put a link to it in the show notes too. But they have like a massive inventory of everything. But realistically speaking, I'm pretty confident we're gonna launch that in the coming weeks. It's been a real nightmare to get, all the gobbledygook back end programming, so our system talks to their system and then get them to do that in the middle of in the middle of the COVID pandemic, right? It's just been a headache. So I hate talking about it because it's like we keep putting the ball back in their court. Anyway, I don't want to get into politics. It's coming very, very soon this year for certain. But yeah, that's what I'd say. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
All right, so there'll be more stuff.
Yeah, there'll be more stuff for sure. Are you selling a bunch of that stuff now?
Well, that was the other thing. And last time I talked to you, I do sunset photography, but I haven't ever sold anything. And your recommendation was to sell things first.
Yeah.
I know people would love to see it on some other items. So
Yep.
I really want to end up going with your website and all that help and all of that.
Yeah.
I also want to just sort of dabble and see if people would buy those other things too, but I didn't really want to start another whole go to some other site.
For sure. And you don't need to do that at all. I mean, you don't even need Gooten for that. I mean, what I would do is I would sign up, I'd get the site up, I would put in what you want it to be, scarf, coffee cup, whatever it is. It's the same advice for Gary, right? Sell one.
Yeah.
If you sell one, be like, hold on. Shipping delays as a result of COVID, then run out, figure out where to get it made and ship it. But then you have the validation of knowing that it's going to sell and you're like, okay, I need coffee cups. What's next, right? Scarves, masks, pillows, whatever other tchotchke there is, shower curtains. They got all kinds of wacky stuff in there.
Okay, and the other thing, the last time, I think what I liked was you said try to sell stuff first before you
always
jump all the way in. And I guess what I'm interpreting that is I should order some different prints from your site so I can see the quality.
Yes.
And then I can have them and say, this is for sale for the season. It's my first ones you've been requesting, blah, blah, blah. And then just see if somebody buys it and what they, if they pay what the price point, like if they just go, sure, no problem, and buy it or not.
Yeah.
And then aim for like at the new year to say, hey, I think they're, like they sold right away or whatever. And then go ahead with the full investment of making it official, getting the website, getting your help.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the dirty little secret, and you probably heard me say this before on the calls, and in no way is this a knock on anyone's local printer. Okay. I understand there's great people, great human beings that are running these businesses, but printing's just become a commodity. Technology's gotten so good that everyone has the same printers, everyone has the same ink, everyone is buying from the same suppliers, everyone's got the same monitor calibration thing. So there's no art form into the digital aspect of it. Some nuances here or there. So what you end up in a situation is, okay, yeah, you can have your local guy and get great service, but you kind of want to go with the outfit that's buying ink by the barrel, right? They buy the barrel. Yeah.
I'm not going to go down and get it and mail it. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So that's just not worth it. So April will put a link in the chat. It'll also be in the show notes. It's called asfprints.com. All it is a direct connection with one of our two printers. So you can go in there and order anything. It will come to your house. The only bummer right now is the printers, like literally every single solitary outfit that's not Amazon is definitely dealing with delayed shipping. And it's just COVID related because so much stuff is being shipped. Unless you're Amazon and you have your own trucks, everyone is just getting hammered right now, which is sort of a bummer, but it just is what it is. So, instead of it being your doorstep in like 5 days or whatever it would be normally, it might be 10. So just giving you an FYI on that.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. And welcome back, by the way. I remember you. It's been like a couple months, right? Like at least maybe even 3 months. Yeah. I remembered you. Amzi, what's up?
Okay.
Gotcha.
Wow. I got crazy questions.
Okay.
One, well, it was a little related to what the lady was talking about. Have you started to sell? Well, I've been selling a lot of masks on my site. So I'm wondering, are you guys starting to sell masks on your site yet?
As soon as the Gooten integration goes in, I think we are going to offer masks, but I definitely not in the next month, I would say. Maybe I don't know. I honestly don't even know. They don't tell me anything. All I do is come on these Zoom sessions and talk to everybody.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah, because they seem to be. I didn't think they'd be a big seller, but I just put my images from my paintings. So I have a quandary there. That my paintings are high end and they sell, for a bit of money, and yet my images now, I'm getting paid because they're on mask. but I'm kind of thinking that I I personally don't feel like the images are exactly shown best on masks.
Oh, for sure not. Yeah.
So I'm thinking of making some designs for masks, just for masks, because that's originally what only reason I put masks for sale up there was because I wanted to have a mask myself, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it didn't look like a schmo mask, you know.
Yeah. 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 I gotcha. I mean, how many masks total have you sold, MZ?
I don't know about 40, but you know that's a lot to
That's
me
a
because
lot. Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
good.
didn't think I just wanted one, and I see people wearing them and I go like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you've got such a recognizable brand. You know, there's definitely the AMZ brand that people want a piece of, and I mean, and you're one of the most avuncular, nice human beings alive. So you've got some brand ID to work on there. But you could easily, AMZ, you could easily, when you do come on board, whenever that is in in the future, you could easily add the masks and still just fulfill them. I mean, if you sold 40, it probably makes sense to put in an order for 100 and always have them with you and include them in every single solitary print order and throw them in as little spiffs here or there, right?
Oh yeah, get a mask with your painting or print.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Or when you're playing your music, you should have a little bucket of them and be selling them. I would. Why not?
Well, I'm starting to write songs about my paintings, so I think that's what's gonna happen when I do my live shows. There'll be someone singing the song about the painting, which will be a G clay.
I'd watch it. I'd watch it. I'd watch it, MZ. I'd watch it. No question.
Okay.
Yep. More questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, that covers it on mask.
Mainly the mask thing.
Yeah. I mean, we have some others that have done like phenomenally well with the masks too, which is just crazy. Notwithstanding the fact my sister-in-law has like her business is manufacturing bathing suits. She has a bathing suit company, and she's been just killing it. She hand sews all of them, makes them like mega comfortable, and sold thousands and thousands. So it's a wild business in and of itself. But I should mention, we know COVID's on. We know times are tough. So we are having a pre-Black Friday sale, which is an incredible deal. So if you do sign up this month, of which there's 9 days left. Notice, by the way, eating my own dog food, discount, scarcity. Okay, discount, scarcity. But it is a big sale. So if you request a demo, you get it in, you run the demo, and you purchase the software between now and the end of the month, you get a big deal. So love to see you do that. Almost as much as I would love you to see you, no matter what, get your art or photography in the water this Q4, whether you sign up with us or not. Honestly, it's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be huge, you guys. No better time than right now. So on that note, thank you everybody for attending. Hope to see you on a future session. Shoot me any questions if you ever have them, live all the time. And yeah, have a great day. The show notes will have everything else too. That'll, like I said, yeah, and all the notes and everything else. So thanks everybody.